So you're thinking about moving to Weatherford, Texas. Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons, ins and outs, if it's a good idea or a bad idea. And if you stick around to the very end, we're going to talk about some different events that Weatherford has going on.
And if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want to be the first to know what's happening in the Texas real estate market, go ahead and hit that bell.
My name is Tom Jung.
And I'm Jack Lisenby.
And we are your local Dallas-Fort Worth real estate agents. If you are looking to buy or sell in the next month or a few days, it doesn't matter. We get phone calls every day from folks just like you. Please don't hesitate to give us a call, shoot us a text, or drop us an email. We also have this cool link at the top of
our YouTube description.
Yes, yeah. Yes. If you want to do a Zoom call.
And while you're down there, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button.
Oh yeah, be good. All right, cool. So Weatherford. What's Weatherford like? What would you describe the feel as?
Weatherford's really interesting because it's like the whole city feels like an old town district. Like it's not like you go down to the historic North Side or Old Town Grapevine or anything like that. It's just that's the whole city. It's sort of like surrounds its historic landmarks.
Yeah, and it's like a small town that got big.
Yeah,
almost, but it's still small in a way. Like it's got a HEB. It's got like some bigger things.
It's like that guy from high school who shows up to the reunion in like shorts and a t-shirt, but somehow he's the richest one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, how did you make so much money? You drive like a beat up van and you've got holes in your clothes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like horse cutting capital of the world. Mm-hmm. So it's a big cowboy town, I guess, even though it's grown so much that you've got all the other stuff, right? You got retirees, you got Lake Weatherford, you got a lake out there, and some of the big time town stuff. Mm-hmm. Walmarts.
Yeah,
that's how you know you're not a small town anymore. I've actually had people that are like, yeah, we moved out to Weatherford because we just wanted to get away from the city. Mm-hmm. Now we're having to move further away. So, which I find is interesting because Weatherford is, like it's got the main necessities, but it's not like they've got like just a ton of stuff going on that's all city-like.
Right, that's fair. I mean, compared to Fort Worth, it feels very small town. But if you think about it, it's it's a decent size. I remember I was talking to this one guy. He was from like Arkansas or Missouri or Mississippi, but he was talking about housing prices back where he lived. He's like, I'd never pay more than $100,000 for a house. And I was like, you're insane. I was like, you couldn't even buy a house for $100,000 here.
Well, it's going to be real ugly.
Yeah. And so if that type of person moved to Weatherford, it would blow his mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's for sure. Okay. Well, cool. Let's kick it off with drive times.
Yeah, so a little bit of location for people who don't know where Weatherford's at. It is just west of Fort Worth, and so if we equate that in drive times, it's about 35 minutes west of Fort Worth. It's also about 35 minutes north of Granbury. And if you're trying to make it across the Metroplex, it's going to take you about 50 minutes to get to either Arlington or the DFW airport. And if you want to make it all the way to Dallas, it's going to be about 70 minutes, so an hour 10. Weatherford is definitely not for the faint of heart if you've got to fly often.
Yeah, and that's those drive times are assuming it's not rush hour, right?
Right, that's pretty optimal traffic.
There is a little bit of congestion right on the one highway that comes in and out. Mm-hmm. Around that time. So
it's still only 4 lanes wide.
Yep, just plan your day to not be driving down that highway at that time. Cool. So Weatherford has like 7 schools, and they're gonna top out at a B rating. So they are above average, but definitely not your nothing you get like super excited about. So
yeah, your kids will make it to college.
Yeah,
it might be a community though.
Yeah, solid graduation rate. It's like 96%. So pretty good chance that the kid's gonna make it out of high school. And there's I think there's a community college over there, a Weatherford Community College. Yeah. So a lot of graduates go there. Texas A&M because it's an agriculture school. Cowboys, whatever, agriculture. Also Texas is I think the 3rd biggest destination. But apart from that, all the way, basically from elementary all the way through high school, it's they're B- to B. And just from reading some of the reviews, it sounds like a little bit of it is staff and administration and not everybody being on the same page. So hopefully, hopefully they figure that out. But student to teacher ratio is like 16-1, so it's just below the national average. So overall, decent.
Yeah.
Not, nothing to be excited.
Well, while the school system over there may not necessarily be turning heads, it's not turning anyone to a life of crime either, because crime rates in Weatherford is actually lower than Fort Worth.
Makes sense. It just takes too long to get somewhere to do crime.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not about to drive half an hour to go rob somebody. Like, why would anyone do that? Actually, the average crime in Weatherford's just over 19 per 1,000, compared to the average of Texas, which is 26.5 per 1,000. It's actually a decent bit lower. And as far as the crime density, it's actually lower at about 24 per square mile compared to Texas's average of 27. And if you're looking for especially safe neighborhoods around that area, the safest ones were Dicey, Centerpoint, and Peaster. And if you're actually looking for the types of houses and what your buying power will get you in Weatherford, go ahead and click the link to a video that we have that goes into a little more detail about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and now that you mentioned Peaster, I know that is like I think that's like a sought-after school district. It's on the north side of Weatherford, so you can live in Weatherford and be in the Peaster school district. Mm-hmm. So that's just a little fun fact. All right, so okay, things to do. So let's say that you live in Weatherford. You're gonna move there. What do you do all day? Number one, you're probably riding horses around. Now, if that's not your thing, they do have other stuff to do. Like we said, it's grown a little bit, so you can go shoot guns, Fort Guard guns and archery. That's always a good pastime. And then you've got quite a bit of stuff in there. I mean, they have their own water park. It's a smaller water park than like a Hurricane Harbor, one of these big ones. But looks like there's plenty for the kids to do, and there's also a trampoline park right next to that. You've also got Sweet Springs Winery. So if you'd like, if you like to have Wine Wednesdays, there's a place to go. And let's see what else we've got. Oh, Weatherford's Farmer Market. So being, out in the country and everything, they're growing crops, and so I don't know if they're growing crops. I don't know if they
are somewhere. I'm sure. Maybe not in Weatherford, but somewhere.
Maybe you're growing some tomatoes. Anyways, there's a farmer's market where you can go and buy all that jam and jelly and all that good stuff. They also have cars seem to be a thing over there. They have the Museum of America, which is antique cars. Mm-hmm. And I also know that they have some different events that are car related.
Oh yeah, the car shows and stuff they do over there.
Yeah. Mm. So, and then you've also, you got Painting with a Twist. You've got a Parker County Axe Company, which
axe throwing. It's big everywhere.
Yeah. So I mean, there are things to do. It's not like I don't want you to get the idea that it's like a one stoplight town. It's got many stoplights.
Yeah, I know we ragged on it for being a small town and whatnot, but it does actually have quite a bit of stuff.
Yeah. So as far as restaurants go, what do we got?
So if you're looking for dining in Weatherford, it is a lot more low-key than most places. They don't necessarily have a Grace's or anything over there, but they do have a Shep's, which is probably one of their more popular destinations. It's a gastropub, so you got like basically a bar that serves food, but it has great reviews. Looked at the food online. I've never actually been myself, but it did look really good. Might have to make a stop. Another big one they have over there is the Mesquite Pit, which is American style barbecue. They have a couple of different locations. They've expanded, so they must be doing pretty good. Zeno's on the Square is a nice Italian restaurant, a bit mid-grade. You could take a date there. It's not like suit and tie style, but it's decent. And then you've got Oaxaca's Mexican cuisine, and I know a lot of you are going to pronounce it Oaxaca. You're wrong. It's Oaxaca, and it's Tex-Mex. So if Mexican's more your style, that's the way to go. And lastly, we've got Mary's Brazos Cafe, which is American style diner. Good quality food, and more of a small town feel to fit the rest of the Weatherford vibe.
Gotcha. Awesome. And then did we mention housing types earlier?
No, we didn't actually mention the types. If you don't end up going and watching the video, most of the types are going to be like American traditional style single-family homes. Yeah,
so as far as like condos and townhomes, you're not going to really find that around Weatherford. And there's like we didn't really talk about this either. There's like a downtown square. This is what I think of when I think of Weatherford. It's got is it like a...
I think it's a tax building.
Yeah, and it's got like a big clock tower on the top.
Yeah,
I
it
think.
does.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's there's little buildings all around it with different businesses and whatnot. So that's what I think of when I think about Weatherford. But right around like the city of Weatherford, like the downtown area, is where you're gonna find a bunch of like smaller homes. It's gonna be where the older stuff was, right? It was built there, and then out around that, you're gonna have everything. I mean, the people have been living there for over 100 years, so you're gonna find homes that range and lots of land. That was the other thing. I think I think it was like a third of all properties for sale were on an acre or more.
Yeah.
When I was looking at it. So cool. And then as far as events go, all right, that's all we had for like our normal video. All right, here we go. This is the end.
You made it. Good job,
Thanks
guys.
for sticking around. All right, so events. Weatherford actually had they have a ton of events. They have looks like a very good parks and recreation department, which I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, I was like, their government website was actually up to date. They actually had a calendar with recent things on it.
Yeah, and just that was unexpected because you have these other towns where it's like you would expect it and you can't find anything, and then then smaller town. Yeah, but anyways, so great job over there, whoever's working on that. And you can find events at experienceweatherford.com. And also, I should note, there is a Weatherford in Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah, very confusing, especially if you're just putting it into your map. Make sure it's the one in Texas. You don't want to drive the wrong direction. Not that this happened, but I'm just, good. So, okay, they have movies in the park, which is kind of cool. So they have, I think, once a month, they do out of the park. They'll put up, like I think this month it's Jurassic Park, but, the family can go out and watch it together. And then they have trade days, which is the first weekend of each month. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like a farmer's market. Like whatever you do, like people come out and they set up their booths. And there's a big one here in Fort Worth too, the swap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then they have a food park lounge night. It's a weird name for what it is, but basically they have live bands and food trucks that come out, and I think this is twice a month that they do the music thing.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and then the biggest thing that they've got going on right now that I could find is the 76th annual Frontier Days. Golly. Anyways, this is like a 5-day event. It's a big rodeo. So they have a parade, which is going to be like a bunch of people on horses, and it runs from June 6th to 10th this year. And each day they have a different performance at the end of the day. I think the last 2 days is Josh Ward and Corey Morrow. These are like Texas country artists. Mm-hmm. So, but that's like a big thing out in Weatherford, and they have rodeos out there all the time. So I know a lot of people think of the stockyards when it comes to rodeos, but they also have an arena out there. I think they have a couple, but I've only been to one of them. So anyways, who would have thought Weatherford would have horse type events?
Right. I mean, I guess it's kind of like Canada being so close to America. You don't really hear about it very often because its neighbor is so loud. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like Weatherford. It's got a lot of stuff going on, but since it's right next to Fort Worth, it's kind of living in the shadow of a very larger sibling.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, but I will say, all right, so my favorite part is I know they have mutton busting
Mutton busting?
Yeah, it's when like the kids go and they like try to hang on to a sheep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, those are my favorite. That or when they like
we
have
did
to
it
catch
with pigs,
cow.
and you cover them in oil. You try and catch a greased pig. You ever tried that?
My gosh, no, that sounds
it's
amazing.
Awful. I mean, it's hilarious, but it's awful.
It's fun to watch. But anyways, cool. So that's all we got on Weatherford. If you guys, I forgot to mention, if you guys live there and you've made it through this whole video and you're just like, please let us know what your pros and cons, what you love about Weatherford, what you hate about it, because this is our perspective, and it'd be super helpful if you guys could give your perspective to anybody else that may be watching this video. But apart from that, we've got resources in the description, and as always, if you're looking to buy or sell, remember to keep calm. Call Tom.